Drinking some black tea. I ran out of green tea, so I'm just drinking this for now with milk. So today we're going to be talking about who are some artists that inspired me to be creative. Well, when I first started, there wasn't really anybody in particular that inspired me. It was more of an interest of expressing myself, getting my ideas out there, and just trying to put onto paper the things that were in my mind that I couldn't quite explain with words. But as I got older and as I kept drawing, I started looking around at different artists and what was out there. I remember in school, art class, and then some of the documentaries I watched as I got older. The two main artists that, as I got older, that I was inspired by would be Leonardo da Vinci and Hieronymus Bosch. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But both of them inspired me quite a bit. So I'm looking at Hieronymus, his paintings, and they're all very dark and kind of scary and crazy. Such as the one where he has, it looks like this person, and there's like people crawling on him. What's the name of it? I don't remember the name of it, but a lot of his paintings are really strange, and that inspired me more to create art. But other than those two, I never really looked up to any artist. I just created things how I wanted to make them. I didn't want to try to really copy or emulate other artists. I wanted to be original. I wanted to create my own style of art. But I would look at Hieronymus, his paintings, and it would give me ideas for things to create. For example, in his paintings, everything's very chaotic and there's this stuff going on everywhere. And I look at that as inspiration because when I go to do my doodles, I try to make things intricate and detailed, but make things interesting. I try to make all of my drawings look different if I can. And in his drawings, he has one, I think it's called The Garden. And in that one, everything, you've got, everything's very green. There's a lot of plants and people look happy. And then he's got other very dark paintings that are a bit scarier, that show different scenes, and it's really strange. And when you look at his paintings, it's like where do you find that type of creativity? I mean, it's like where do you get those type of ideas from? I mean, like nowadays, you've got all this technology with computers and everything that you can do, to where you can get a projector and you can draw something out, plan it, project it onto a wall, trace it, and then add in different things. There's so much you can do now. But back then, you didn't have as much technology. Even though they did have some form of a, it was like some type of like little box they used to project like an image through it, kind of like a projector. But it was nowhere near as advanced what we have today. But his paintings, they're very creative, and it's as if somebody had a bunch of really strange dreams, and one day somehow just started painting them. And the first time I saw these, I thought it was like maybe hundreds of people combined together to paint this when I was younger. And I looked, and they said it was from one person. And I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. And I know that, what was his name? He painted, trying to remember his name now. I'm too young to be this forgetful. But it was, Leonardo, and I know he did a kind of a competition against him in paintings. I can't remember his name. Oh well, I don't care. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, the paintings go from a very scenic and happy and cheerful and green to just downright crazy. But I think a lot of my art is kind of like that, to where I draw organic stuff, things that are nature themed and are all scenic and calm and nice. But then I have a lot of drawings that are very chaotic and random and strange, and you don't really know what's going on in them, and half the time I don't either. I just start putting some lines on the paper, and whatever happens, happens, and that's what I end up making. But I'm still looking through here at some of his other paintings, and it's a lot of like different animal characters, where it's like half people, and it's like half animal, like half bird person, and then there's other really strange themes of like everyday utensils, like scissors and spoons and forks and everything. There's like lizards and dragons, and it's so strange. It's kind of like if you took all the stuff that's in your mind and just dumped it onto a canvas, and then like that's what I'm seeing here. But yeah, I would say those are the two that have inspired me the most when it comes to creatively. But their stuff was all paintings, and I just do drawings for the most part. I've tried to get into painting, but I just like working with ink, black and white, black ink on white paper, because I enjoy the contrast of it. And I've always had a hard time working with the colors. I'm just never able to focus on being creative and focus on the subject of what I'm making. I have to keep worrying about all the technical parts of it and trying to make things look like something rather than just splashes of randomness on a canvas. I mean, I like doing abstract and like, seascapes, or maybe a landscape, mostly spacescapes where there's like no stars and all that stuff in the galaxy. I like to do those more than anything with watercolors. But as far as painting people, yeah, I've tried that once. Painting skin tones is very difficult. I tried it, and the skin tones were all messed up, and everything looked really weird. I tried to paint a person, and I thought that I had a peach tone color, and I went to paint the person, and they ended up looking like pink. So I tried to fix it, and I accidentally added the wrong color, and then the person like turned out like blue. They looked like some kind of, I don't know. It was weird. But yeah, I just mostly stick with drawing. I mean, I do a little bit of painting here and there, but back to what I was saying about when I was younger. When I first saw Leonardo's stuff, I found it very interesting the way that he did a lot of his hatching marks and lines in a lot of his work. Because back then they used to have, it was like they had to prepare the paper and everything, and they had like it was like a little metal wire, kind of like my rotring isograph, but completely different in a lot of ways, to where it was a type of metal. I think it was like copper or brass. I think it was silver and gold they used, and they would have to prepare the paper, and it was a slightly rough surface, so that every time you drew on it, part of the metal would rub off onto the paper, and that's how you were able to draw a lot of these portraits back then. Now, at the time, making paper and doing these drawings was actually quite expensive, because they weren't as readily available as they are today. I mean, you can go online now and order 5,000 sheets of paper, and you're good for life, just about. But back then, you had to prepare the paper and everything, and it was quite a bit of work. And then too, over time, after, I don't know how long it is, but like back when Leonardo and Hieronymus was painting, this is 400 years ago, or yeah, it was about 400 years ago. And because they were doing these drawings, like Leonardo's drawings was done in silver. I'm pretty sure it was silver. Yes, it was silver, because they called it silver point. Now the drawings would change color to where it had like a different tint to it over time, because of the chemical reaction of the metal to oxygen in the air, which would cause it to change color. So when I looked at his drawings and I seen what he was making, I found that very interesting. I liked the very technical part of it, which I try to do that in my drawings. I try to make it very technical, but also very abstract and doodly. I try to combine the two, but I enjoy being more creative than just being technical with everything, because then I start getting all, worried about it being perfect and precise. Every line has to be absolutely perfect. But I enjoy the creative side of drawing, but Hieronymus is probably my one of my most inspirational artists that I've seen, because of the fact that it's just, there's so much going on. So it's very creative, but also very technical. You have to have a lot of skill. But there are other artists, I just can't remember their names. If I remember them, I will mention that in another video. But hopefully that answers your question about artists that inspired me. But I guess I could say I'm my favorite artist. But other than those two, I never really looked up to any other artists. I just made things how I wanted to. I wasn't trying to emulate anybody. I wasn't really trying to copy anybody. I wasn't trying to draw for any other reason than to just enjoy it, to get better. And the enjoyment I got out of creating something new that wasn't there, rather than just redrawing a portrait. So that's one of the reasons why I really like doodling and making random abstract stuff that really strange. And after I do a drawing, I look at it, I'm like, I don't know what I made, but it's something. It's something. There's some lines there. There's a tree. There's a house. There's some rocks, a mountain, a moon floating in the sky. Don't know why it's there, but it is. I recently did a drawing like that, and I don't know. I like making different things all the time and just seeing what happens with the drawing. It's like it's coming to life as I'm creating it, and I never know what to expect. And so then I've thought about naming my drawings, but I don't know. Because if I give it a name, I feel like it's going to label the drawing as something, and that might change a person's perspective or what they see in the drawing if it has a certain name. It's like if I did a painting and I painted the ocean red, and I labeled the painting the Great Blue Sea, and then you look at it and it's a red painting. You're like, that doesn't make any sense. I guess that's something you could do as a joke, but or let's say you do something as, you name it the Calm Doodle, but it's chaotic or something. But I think you get the idea of what I'm talking about. Just if you give a name, then it kind of changes what people might think of the drawing or painting or whatever. But yeah, Hieronymus' stuff is really crazy, and there's a lot going on. And Leonardo's is more, there's not as much stuff going on everywhere, but I think it's quite a bit more technical in a lot of ways, especially when it comes to painting people. and his ability to paint and create like the folds in fabric and clothing, and a lot of the clothing that you see that they used to wear back then. He was really good at painting that and making it look pretty realistic. But those are some of the people I can think of, really the only two that I really found a lot of inspiration from the beginning. But there are other artists that I'd seen that gave me inspiration, but I would say as far as artists I looked up to, not really anybody. I just created how I wanted to and just went from there, and here I am still doodling many years later. Been doodling now for I'll be turning 30 soon, so that would make it 26 years. I pretty much started drawing as soon as I could hold a pencil or a crayon. My tea's almost gone. I'm going to finish it up. But anyways, hopefully that answered your question about artists that I found it most interesting and inspired by. But if you got any other questions about anything, drawing, or anything else related, or something you'd like me to cover in a topic, do let me know in the comments below. And also don't forget to check all the links in my videos. I put links down there where you can buy prints. And don't forget to subscribe so you can get more content. But I'll think of some more videos and things to talk about, and I'll be covering anything that comes to my mind, really. I'll just write it down real quick as a note and then go from there. But I'll see you all later. You have fun doodling, and you all have a great day. Bye, everybody.